Fasten your seatbelts.
Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of That Movie Show. It feels like we're doing this forever, Liam.
I feel you on that one.
Radio show, bonus show. We're into the Spider-Verse now because it's Spider-Man 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 was released June 22nd, 2004. It was. It had a budget of $200 million. Came back with $783.8 million at the box office. Was directed by Sam Raimi. Alvin Sargent wrote the screenplay. Of course, based on the comic book Spider-Man by Stan Lee. Steve Ditko stars Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, Alfred Molina, Rosemary Harris, Donna Murphy. Music by Danny Elfman. And yeah. So I have some thoughts.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. If you listen to our radio show, you heard me talk about how I love Sam Raimi and his movies and stuff. And I do. That was an honest statement. And I love this movie as a Sam Raimi movie, but I hate the actors in it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like Tobey Maguire. I didn't realize it until rewatching this, because it was never one of those things. I haven't had like a Tobey Maguire thing. But all of a sudden, I'm watching this movie because I have to, and I'm like, I hate his stupid face.
Yeah.
I hate his stupid face. And Kirsten Dunst, again, not a person I ever paid much mind to until I had to watch this, and I'm like, I don't like her. I didn't feel James Franco really gave a shit in the movie.
No.
Alfred Molina was probably the best of it, but he was mostly bad CGI'd.
Yes.
Because it was 2004 and they hadn't perfected that shit yet.
Right.
But as a movie, as a Sam Raimi movie, it was a good movie. And that's why I'm conflicted.
Yeah. This is also
like on the internet been heralded as the best Spider-Man movie for like a long time.
Yeah, up until I think Homecoming. I think
and now Far From Home, probably.
And now Far From Home. But you look at these movies and they laid the groundwork for the ability to do the MCU.
Correct.
You know, these movies aren't, when you look back at what the MCU has become. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these movies aren't that good. You know, like they're not good. You look at Tom Holland and what he's done with Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is head and shoulders above what Tobey Maguire was doing with the character. And at the time, we heralded Tobey Maguire as so good. He was doing such a great job with Spider-Man.
Did we, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, you know, superhero movies were like an absolute joke until Spider-Man. And
I mean, you could also make the argument for Batman.
Right.
The Tim Burton Batman kind of opened that up.
Is that the most recent up until that point were Batman and Robin and Batman Forever?
Well, they definitely fell off the rails. I'm not going to argue that either.
Yeah, but that's, you know, so that's kind of where we are, right? When Spider-Man comes. And so Spider-Man is a little bit more return to form of that, like, you know, that this can be superhero movies can be good. And then Batman Begins comes out and it goes, oh no, these can be good movies. Mm-hmm. You know, and then Iron Man, and we know what ends up happening after Iron Man. But
there's 23 movies.
Yeah, 23 movies later. Yeah. You know, here we are.
It's been that long.
Yeah. You know, this is a good sequel. When you're talking about movies that are sequels, this definitely falls in the camp of this is a good one. You know, they do a good job with this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that is my conflict, because it's a good movie. And especially because as a Sam Raimi fan, I can see his fingerprints on it, because he has such a distinct style of filming that I'm like, this is a good movie and this is a good Sam Raimi movie, especially because up until he started doing Spider-Man, he was very cultish at best. I mean, let's see, Spider-Man, the original, came out in 2002. He had done The Gift 2 years earlier, which was kind of a low budget, lesser seen, but still good movie. For Love of the Game, that was another Kevin Costner baseball movie. Simple Plan, Quick and the Dead, which is another great example of Sam Raimi. I like Quick and the Dead.
I do too. It's a good Leonardo DiCaprio movie too.
Yep. And before that, it was Army of Darkness and Darkman, and it was like it's like coming off of Army of Darkness, coming off of Evil Dead. It's
right.
He didn't have like that big studio blockbustery clout, and then he did those, and now he's given the Wizard of Oz movie, which I liked, but I guess people didn't. I thought it was a very well
executed.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the execution was great. I was very meh about the whole thing.
Yeah, but yeah, this was definitely like I said, when you watch it, it's a Sam Raimi movie. Like he does a lot of those. Like if you're watching the video, that first person coming at you thing. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like especially with, and I loved it, especially with like the Doc Ock claws when he was killing everybody, including John Landis was a cameo in that scene. Yeah. It was great because he got those great like all the shit he learned making Evil Dead for no money. You could see in that scene.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's really interesting. I think that the construct, bringing in Doc Ock in this movie was great. I thought that they told a very good story. I just don't like Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane.
I'm not a fan. And I don't know. She, much like Tobey Maguire, she wasn't an actress I ever was like, I don't like her. It's just.
Yeah. Well, here's a prime example. Yeah, here's an example of something that I don't know if I mentioned in the Far From Home show, but
which you can find on any podcasting app under that movie show. Cheap plug.
Yeah, cheap plug. Jake Gyllenhaal. My gut reaction is always I don't like Jake Gyllenhaal, but then I see Jake Gyllenhaal in a movie and I go, I liked you in that movie. Right. And it's really hard to say that I don't like Jake Gyllenhaal when I've liked him in everything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I feel the opposite about Kirsten Dunst, where I've always
been the same way with Tom Cruise in that.
Right. Tom Cruise is another one of those actors where it's like, I don't like Tom Cruise. And then it's but I love Cocktail. But I liked Cocktail. And I like all the Mission Impossible movies. And I love Top Gun.
Yep.
Oh, well, I guess I like Tom Cruise.
I just don't want to admit it.
Yeah. It's the opposite with Kirsten Dunst, where it's like, I like Kirsten Dunst. And then I think about it and I'm like, I don't know if I've ever liked you in anything outside of Bring It On.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know if I've liked you in anything outside of that. Look, I really like that movie. I really like you in that movie. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever liked anything that you've ever really done.
Let me take a quick look at her IMDb and see what she's done that I might like.
What is that movie? Is it The Virgin Suicides? Is that the one where it's her?
Yeah, that was Sofia Coppola's movie.
Yeah, there was that.
That was good. That was very indie.
Yeah, it was super indie.
She was in the original Jumanji.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not a Kirsten.
That movie's good because of Robin Williams. I mean,
I don't count because she was in Interview with a Vampire, but I don't consider that a Kirsten Dunst movie.
Right.
She was in Small Soldiers, which is a underrated movie.
Really?
But again, she was the girl in that.
Oh, all right.
She was the girl, but again, not a Kirsten Dunst movie. That was like a basically live action Toy Story.
Yeah.
It was basically DreamWorks going, oh yeah, fuck you at Pixar.
Yeah,
we
right.
got this shit happening live action. Okay, here's one. Here's one that is very underrated. I did like her in, and I do love the movie. Drop Dead Gorgeous from 1999.
Okay.
It's a very culty type movie about. It's kind of like a mockumentary about Southern beauty pageants.
Yeah.
And it's her. It's a great performance by Ellen Barkin and Kirstie Alley. Denise Richards is also in it. It's a really underrated movie that I liked her in, but that's one of her whole IMDb. That's not called Bring It On.
Yeah, right. Which she's only in the one.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to see I gotta make sure I got the right movie. It's on Netflix. It's Dumplin'. It's about beauty pageants. It's very good.
Oh. Is it like a documentary or a movie?
No, it's a movie. Okay. It's Dolly Parton's in it, and so is Jennifer Aniston.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, it's about a very plus size girl who is the daughter of like a legendary like beauty queen. Okay. And so she's gonna go into the beauty pageant to prove that, like, it's not all it's cracked up to be. So it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Female empowerment. It's good.
I'll have to give it a look. I just ran down Tobey Maguire's IMDb as well, and I don't like him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the hitchhiker in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which was one of my favorite movies, but that had nothing to do with him.
Yeah, but like he's also the crazy.
And Hunter Thompson hated him, so fuck him.
He's also the crazy little psycho in Sin City. Oh no, that was the other one.
That was Elijah Wood.
That was Elijah Wood, who
he played himself in the Tropic Thunder fake trailer, but I don't count that either.
Yeah, no.
I don't like him. I just don't. And watching this back, it's like, I think I don't like him. And after reading his credits, I just realized I really don't like him. But I really don't like him, especially in comparison to Tom Holland.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that
because we have an amazing, pun intended, amazing Spider-Man right now.
Yeah, Tom Holland is so good as Spider-Man. It's crazy, and it's really unfortunate because it does make Tobey Maguire look worse by comparison.
And again, I don't remember the last time I watched the first Tobey Maguire one or the third Tobey Maguire one, but I mean, sitting through this one, I said it on the Far From Home review. He's a bumbling idiot. Like,
yeah,
I get it. Peter Parker thing is he always fucks up, but this was just like slapsticky bullshit.
Well, the worst part is that Peter Parker is such a bumbling idiot, and Spider-Man is so collected that they feel like two different characters.
Right.
Whereas Tom Holland, he's Spider-Man, but he's still messing up stuff as Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it feels like it's an extension, not a disassociation. Whereas, like, as Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire is like bumbling and nervous and stupid and self-conscious.
And there was that whole that montage scene. What was the old song? Raindrops are falling. That whole fucking bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I don't know. I was watching the extended version, so I don't even know how much extra shit I had to sit through. It says 8 minutes, but I'm like, ugh, take 10.
Yeah, right. Oh, God. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. I did like Doc Ock in this movie, though. I thought he was a fun character.
I loved the whole gimmick that he had, the thing, especially because it was a behind the scenes, and it basically took two people for each tentacle to marionette that.
Yeah, because there was the person that was moving the thing, and then there was the other person that was moving the claws.
Fucking amazing that's practical.
Yeah, it's great. Well, it also just shows you, because that holds up, and that still looks good.
Right.
For the most part, when it is those marionettes and those puppets, it does look better, because practical is better than CGI for the most part.
Especially in 2004, the CGI was not good.
No, not good.
And there was especially people.
Yeah.
Like Sam Raimi clearly likes to break glass in his movies. You can just go back and watch The Evil Dead. But the CGI glass kind of worked in this a little bit. It was shot in the Sam Raimi way that it worked. However, people and CGI in this movie, they looked weirdly, I don't know, like it's kind of like if you're photoshopping something and you kind of screw up when you're erasing the edges, and you try to fix it by erasing more and erasing more and erasing more, and all of a sudden your head is like a pencil.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You just erase too much. It's like, or I guess another term would be if you're shaving and all of a sudden you fuck up, and it's like, oh, let me just fix that, and all of a sudden you're clean shaven because you just
right. Yeah, you messed everything up, and now you're bald.
Yeah, exactly. I guess you want to jump into this a little bit.
I guess
the movie.
I mean,
Mary Jane's doing theater, and she's pissed off that nobody comes to see it. But we saw some of the play. It sucks. I understand why nobody comes to see that shit.
Right.
And she was terrible for a theater actor. She fucked up every time she was on camera.
Yeah, and Bruce Campbell is saving everybody by closing the doors and not letting anybody in.
I love it. That's and that is like a Hitchcock reference too, because that's what he did with Psycho.
Yeah,
like the actual sign was almost word for word the sign that they had when Hitchcock hit theater, when Psycho hit theaters. That nobody will be seated at blah 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 blah.
Right.
And Bruce Campbell, national treasure.
Yes, Absolutely.
Apparently, because he was the wrestling announcer in the first one.
Correct.
Is he playing the same character?
I think.
I get it. New York is expensive. You got to have a few jobs.
Yeah, I don't think we ever fully know.
Let me see if I'm going to pull up the IMDb for Spider-Man 2. Find Bruce Campbell in there.
Yeah, because
there's a lot of people in this movie.
So many people.
So many people.
But yeah, it was really, so she, her and Peter still go on with the will they, won't they,
I don't believe their chemistry at all.
No, it doesn't feel real. Outside of that one cool moment with the upside down water kiss in the first one, it just doesn't feel real.
It got him an MTV award.
It did. Best kiss.
Best kiss.
Yeah, because that's an award on the MTV Movie Awards.
And I mean, because again, I don't remember the last time I watched the first Spider-Man, so I was a little confused with the whole lack of a better term, love triangle dynamic. So James Franco wasn't dating Kirsten Dunst?
I think he is at one point. I forget.
She seems really single when the birthday party happens, but she's also pissed off about something, and then she goes and marries J. Jonah Jameson's son.
Yeah, she's going to get married to him.
Okay.
J.K. Simmons, we haven't mentioned him in being one of the best parts of this movie.
He is the best part of this movie.
He's the best part of all three of these movies.
Fantastic.
I think it really put him on the map and allowed him to be the farmer's insurance guy.
Spider-Man 2, Bruce Campbell as the snooty usher.
Snooty usher. That's right.
Hey, man.
That's right. He's snooty usher. What is he in the third one?
He's a maitre d'.
Oh, he is a maitre d'.
He's a maitre d' at the restaurant.
Did you watch all three?
No. I watched the second one, and I like I said, I don't remember the last time I watched the other two.
Yeah.
It's probably around when they came out. I might have watched the first one other time. I wasn't a fan of the third one.
The third one's bad.
Yeah.
The third one's bad. And so I'm really glad that we had to reboot. Now we had to reboot the reboot, but if that got us to Tom Holland, then I'm okay with it.
Right. So in this one, you mentioned Jake Gyllenhaal earlier, and as a fun little connection with this movie in particular, Gyllenhaal was actually set to replace Tobey Maguire in this movie. And it's depending on who you believe. Tobey Maguire was claiming to have back injuries. When they started negotiating with Gyllenhaal, his back injuries all of a sudden fixed themselves, and he was ready to go.
Yeah.
The other side of the coin is he negotiated in the first Spider-Man for 3 movies, how much he was getting paid, et cetera, et cetera. After the first one came out, was a huge success. His agent went back to Sony, said, we want $25 million or 10% of the box office, whichever one is better.
Yeah.
And they basically told him to screw.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, oh, shit. And he ended up obviously coming back and doing the movie. I believe he got $17 million for the movie. But yeah, so Tobey Maguire trying to strong arm a little bit, but also proved, hey, you're not special.
Yeah, right.
You're not that special.
You're just lucky.
We got Gyllenhaal on deck.
You're also just lucky Tom Holland isn't born yet.
Right. Also, some other casting options they had. So let's see. Robert De Niro was originally considered for the Green Goblin in the first one. As far as Dr. Octopus, he was also considered for Dr. Octopus. So they were basically trying to get De Niro into these movies as much as possible. Never happened.
Keanu Reeves.
No, unfortunately no, but I'm sure he was called.
He was definitely trying to get him in this movie.
They made a courtesy call, but he wasn't on the official casting. Chris Cooper, David Duchovny, your favorite, Ed Harris, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Sam Neill were all considered for Dr. Octopus. And funny little connection there is Chris Cooper ended up playing Norman Osborn in Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 2014.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go. That's a little bit of the whole casting bit. The Stan Lee cameo, he was originally supposed to play the guy who yells, "Hey, you stole that guy's pizza" to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But because of his schedule, he couldn't do it. The guy who ended up doing it was, of course, Donald Rawlings, who was, of course, Ashy Larry in Chappelle Show.
Yep.
And Stan Lee just ended up like saving a woman from bricks falling or something like real
Yeah,
quick.
that's right.
A real quick little bit of that. Joel McHale, pre-hair plugs in this movie.
That is also something that we didn't talk about in the Far From Home thing. It was really sad when you realize that you watched the entire movie and Stan Lee wasn't in it.
Yes. I was kind of half expecting an end credit thing.
Yeah.
I didn't read. I know a lot of people had written whether or not he was in it, but I never clicked on any of those links. So yeah, I guess those are done.
Yeah, that's it.
Done. But yeah, so okay, the bank scene. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Sure.
How many New York banks, first of all, have their vault out in the main lobby area? Secondly, how many of those vaults are filled with pirate gold coins?
All of them. All of them. First of all, he robbed the bank for the Continental. There is your Keanu Reeves connection.
Right.
Is this was the bank for the Continental,
Yes.
and the real reason we never see Dr. Octopus again is because the Russian mob sent the boogeyman out to get him, and that's the impossible task that gets John Wick out of the Russian mob, and then that's what creates the John Wick franchise.
The ever-expanding Keanu-verse.
Yeah. Do you also like that I just keep doing that just completely off the top of my head?
You know what? It's better than my Dice impression. Let's put it that way. it's a better running bit than that. So here's the other thing. Dr. Octavius is a man.
Yeah.
So how, when Peter Parker punches him, who has superhuman powers, how is he just not dead?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the part of the problem with these.
Because I don't know what was extended in my movie or not, but there was a scene that when they're fighting on the buildings,
yeah,
and they crash through an apartment window, and Peter beats the fucking bag out of him, like Bruce Willis did in Sin City. Like I was surprised he didn't just pull up a bloody fucking fist.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, he's a superhero. He has superhuman powers. He falls from buildings, bounces off a bunch of shit, and still just gets up and goes, "Ugh, my back."
Yeah.
It's like, and he's punching this guy excessively in the face.
This is the difference between these movies and the MCU, right? Is that, all of it, now we're all just superpowered, right? It doesn't matter, we're superheroes.
He's strapped on a metal backpack, and all of a sudden he can withstand punches from a super,
basically super strength. Man, superhuman strength.
Right.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. Because I mean, like, you look at Gyllenhaal's character in Spider-Man: Far From Home, right? And here's the deal. This isn't super spoilery, so don't at me or at me. I don't care.
At Liam NAI.
At Liam NAI. But when Spider-Man finally gets his hands on Mysterio, he beats the bag out of him. Because Mysterio's just a guy, you know what I mean? And so that's the same thing where it's just like in these movies with Tobey Maguire, it feels far more that it's just like, nope, superhero stuff. You're a supervillain. You can take punches from Spider-Man.
Right. Well, okay. There you go. Before he finds out that Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Dr. Octopus ever finds that out.
Yeah, because he grabs May.
But not that part, because that he still doesn't know yet. But Harry Osborn, Franco, sends Dr. Octopus to find out who Superman is. And by the way, again, that's a weird exchange that ran through the movie that annoyed the piss out of me. Hey, buddy, happy birthday. Who the fuck is Spider-Man?
What?
I just got home from work, pal. It's like, you're in my house. Like,
yeah. What are you doing?
I can't tell you. I'm sorry you killed your dad, pal, but get over it.
Yeah.
But he thinks Peter Parker is the only one that knows who Spider-Man is, and he launches a car at him through a coffee shop.
Yeah, right.
Just to get his attention?
Yeah, but what was the plan?
He could have easily walked into the place, grabbed MJ and done all that stuff, but he could have killed everybody.
He also knows Peter Parker.
Right.
So he could have just been like, "Hey man.
Hey bro.
Yeah, what's happening?
I hear you take pictures of this guy for the Daily
Bugle.
Bag."
Yeah, you take it for Daily Bugle. What's up, man? What's going on?
Yeah. The whole Aunt May capture thing again, like,
yeah,
so much of the nitpicky shit. And I know I'm looking through this through, MCU colored glasses now.
Yeah,
but it's like, look, that old bitch is gonna fall off that fucking building. She's hanging off by an umbrella. First of all, the umbrella couldn't hold a body. Second of all, she's old.
Yeah, right.
She's going to fall and she's going to die. If she wouldn't die by a giant metal claw gripping her entire fragile body and whipping it around New York City, she's going to die.
Yeah,
like,
it's
all people break hips in bathtubs. She's getting thrown around New York. The bitch is dead.
Yeah, I know. I used to work in an assisted living facility, and it's very sad. But it's like, yeah, people trip, fall, and break both their arms.
It's life.
Yeah, so who knows? I don't. Yeah, it's tough because the unfortunate thing about this movie,
wet, skies blue, old people are fragile. They can't get tossed around New York City and survive.
The sad thing about this is, Far From Home and Homecoming and Civil War and Infinity War, basically make this movie bad. A movie that inherently wasn't bad prior to 2016, 2017, right. A movie that we would have heralded as the best Spider-Man movie is now bad because we finally got to see what a good Spider-Man movie is.
Well, and it's the simple thing of having real life consequences for these actions. Like, I get it. If you beat the shit out of Spider-Man, he is a superhuman. He can withstand it. But Aunt May is an old lady.
Right.
Just the sight of Dr. Octopus might send her into shock.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So her hanging off of a New York skyscraper by a fucking umbrella.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't suspend that much disbelief anymore.
It's really funny because for as true to the comic book end of things that the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies are, the Tom Holland MCU ones feel more accurate.
Mm. And I don't know, is it because we're looking at it because they're actively trying to do things in a bit more of a realistic sense while still telling comic book stories but with real life implications?
Yeah, I think that they're just better films.
Well, they're fucking definitely better films.
But I think that's the thing is I think that we went from
this Spider-Man made 783 million box office total. Spider-Man Far From Home has almost made that in a week.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
And fuck inflation. It's just people are coming out to see that shit because they're good movies.
Yeah, they're just better movies. And I think that that's ultimately what the deal is that you still have like, oh, this is a comic book movie. And now it's like, no, these are good movies. They just happen to have superheroes in them.
Right. They've become, comic book movies have very much become the modern action movies. They're the new diehards. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's just, think about it. John McClane was basically a superhero.
Yeah, right.
He shouldn't have survived, but now we have these properties. What else?
I think that's really it.
Molina was good.
Yeah,
he was the train scene.
Oh yeah,
I did like that. I liked it up until the end.
Oh, the funniest part about that is
the whole Jesus thing when they dragged him across.
Yeah,
as he's passed out. First of all, second of all, the fact that he was unmasked for the whole fucking thing bothered me.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they saw his face and nobody's got a flip phone. It was 2004. They were around. And they're just like, yeah, we're not going to tell anybody. Bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Bullshit. And then Joey Coco Diaz jumps in front of fucking Doc Ock and he's like, yeah, you're going to have to go through me. It's like, all right.
Why?
Honestly, that whole Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark type of reaction was priceless. You're going to have to go through all of us. Cool.
Yeah, right.
Right off.
Right. The Spider-Man
game.
Do
I really?
In the Spider-Man game for PS4, they make fun of that scene a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's a part in the game where you're on a train and you have to stop a train. So he starts doing the shooting the webs to have the Jesus outpost.
Yeah.
And so he starts it and he starts trying to stop the train and then everything breaks and the webs all break and he just looks around and he goes, "That worked last time."
Oh, that's funny.
And so it's pretty funny.
Well, because the first time he shoots out, he rips off half of a couple buildings there.
Yeah.
And then he tries again, shoots more webs. I still don't understand the whole the web shit because like he runs out of webs and then he doesn't run out of webs, and the webs are very convenient in this movie.
Yeah.
The whole he has power, he doesn't have power, a bit too convenient for the plot.
Right, of course.
But also, it's like I'm watching that, and again, watching it with MCU color glasses, I'm like, well, in Homecoming, he was able to hold a fucking ship together with his webs.
Yeah, right.
So this is gonna have to work.
Yeah, right.
He can definitely stop a fucking train.
Yeah, right.
You know? But yeah, the weird once he's done and he passes out, the weird just carry him like Jesus with his arms out was
stupid.
Is I don't know, a bit too much symbolism for me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then we get the return of William Dafoe as the Green Goblin, I guess ish.
Kinda.
Again, I don't remember the third one. Does that pay off? Because
Harry goes crazy. Harry goes crazy and basically becomes like pseudo kinda
New Goblin.
So
okay, so refresh my memory on the third one. Because there's Topher Grace is Venom, right?
Right.
And
Sandman
is the not Tom Jane, the other guy.
Yeah, but he's Sandman.
Okay, and so there's 3 villains in it?
Yeah, and so then...
Me, that's excessive.
Yeah, the movie's not good. It's not very well done. And then basically, like, Tobey Maguire and what's his name? James Franco basically be like, we both have to go save Mary Jane because we both love Mary Jane.
God, and that chick is just terrible.
Yeah.
Like that iteration of the character is just terrible. She just, I mean, what I guess it's the 2019 women empowerment, all that good stuff she is like the opposite.
Yeah, she is.
She is 100% old school damsel in distress that's just getting in the way.
Yeah, she's in the way 90% of the time. There's no reason for her to be in any of these situations.
When the whole building's starting to collapse down onto her, it's like, first of all, classic movie trope, she doesn't just run.
Yeah, right.
Slowest falling building ever. Just watch it. It will come down on top of you. And you just stay right there. Secondly, why didn't Spider-Man just kind of web her out of the way instead of running over and trying to hold the fucker up?
Yeah, right.
Again, the webs were very convenient. Like in the whole, when Dr. Octopus is doing it's Dr. Octavius at the time, when he was first fucking with the whole
sphere thing, yeah.
And he was basically like, I don't know, what was he harnessing, the sun or whatever?
Something like that, yeah.
And shit starts to go sideways. Instead of just kind of walking over and unplugging or maybe web shooting the plugs out, Spider-Man had to do a whole swing to the ceiling, make a whole speech, and then try to jump down. It's like, dude, just
get rid of it.
Get shit done.
Yeah, right.
I didn't, there was a lot of like side characters that I didn't really gather. I didn't understand a lot of, like Octavia's wife when she dies, I was like, eh.
Yeah, right.
All right. I mean, it was cool, the glass, even though they show her face later and it was very clean for somebody who got shot with like 50,000 pieces of glass.
Yeah, and with a shattered ceiling.
Yeah. Something like that. But yeah, so what was the point of the whole thing? What was the fucking point of this movie?
Nothing. It was to make money.
The sun? Was he trying?
Yeah, and renewable energy. Yeah. He ends up going crazy.
Did he though? Because he kind of saved the day ish.
Sort of. Yeah.
I don't know. It was a weird villain.
Yeah, it was.
It was a weird villain, and then the thing in the back of his neck that was
starting to make him go crazy.
Yeah, but it broke after a while, and then he started just talking to the claws like a fucking Alexa.
Yes.
He's like, oh, cut a hole in the floor, drown this. It's like, say please, motherfucker.
Yeah, right. It is a robot and it has feelings.
This is a sentient being.
Yeah.
Terminator, bitch.
Yeah, this is Skynet 1.0. Yeah. That's Spider-Man.
That's Spider-Man 2. I mean, yeah, I guess at the time it was a good movie. And it's still like, again, watching it, like I said, I'm conflicted because it's a watchable movie. I like the movie, especially as a Sam Raimi movie. I just don't like the people that they cast in it. Like almost any of them.
Right.
But yeah, so it is what it is. Go see Far From Home.
Yeah, go see Far From Home or Homecoming.
There is that too.
Go see both of those. They're better.
Yeah. Let's move forward with our Spider-Man.
Yeah,
they're getting better with age.
They are. As they get younger.
Exactly. What do we say? What do we say we're doing next week? We talked about it off air.
Lion King.
Oh, Sabanya. Yeah. So the quote unquote what they're calling live action, but actually CGI.
It's a different version of animation.
It's in theaters this week. Is that what the thing is?
Friday, 19th.
All right. So yeah. So Lion King, the original animated Lion King. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna tear down a Disney classic for the first time on this show, are we?
Yeah, we are.
Right. I'm looking forward to that.
It's also the first movie I ever saw in movie theaters.
Ooh. Well, there's a fun little trivia fact for you.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I'm gonna have to think of what mine was. I want to say it was Bambi.
Yeah.
But I'm old.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was definitely a re-release of Bambi because I think that was fucking 1940 or some shit.
Yeah. Oh, for forever I thought Fox and the Hound was like released like in a normal time for me to have seen it in theaters, and no, that was way later or way earlier.
It's one of those things. I know I saw Bambi in the theater, but the first movie I ever remember seeing was Spaceballs.
Yeah. Okay.
That's okay. Your trivia fact was better. Fuck you. Anyway. Thank you for joining us on That Movie Show. We covered Spider-Man 2, and you can follow myself and Liam on social media, Mike Wendt, Liam, N-A-I, and hashtag That Movie Show. Let us know what you would like us to review. You can also subscribe to the podcast on any and all podcasting apps, Google, iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, I think we're on as well, any of them. And if you're listening to this, thank you so much. Tell your friends, hey, there's this fun movie show. You should subscribe. It's on all podcasting apps. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/thatmovieshowtv to get the video version, the YouTube version, the all other versions, and you can just let us know what you want to do or just, tell us to fuck off. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.